Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9, Negan and Daryl Theory. We are going to break down a little bit of information. We're going to give a little bit of our thoughts, a little bit of our comments. But this is Walking Dead Day, and I see a lot of faces. I see some people we haven't seen in a little while. Mel is in the house. What's going on, Mel? I got super chats going all over the place. Want to make a couple announcements. It's just chaos. It is utter chaos, but it's the way that we like it. I am going to ask before I get too far into it, please, 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 at least half of you have watched the premiere. No spoilers in this chat. We are going to be doing a spoiler stream on the 999 Army at 4 o'clock. There is a method to the madness. Now you guys can see all the different channels and all the things that we're going. Today is just going to be us hanging out, getting ready for it. We will do the reaction video here tonight, so you get plenty of time to talk about today's episode. So let's jump right into it. I got Valar in the house. What's up, Valar? Hello, 99 Army. Kill Steph, Emmy, Kells, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, Patreons, of course, all the super chatters, and every one of you that have been so patient for the last couple months while we've come up with topics and streams and ideas. And look, this might be a little bit of common sense, but there's news and there's spoilers. And the difference between news and spoilers, Michonne Denai is leaving the show. That's not a spoiler. We know that's out there. It's everywhere. Now, if we were to talk about how she were to leave the show, that would be a spoiler. So if it's out there on Forbes or Entertainment Weekly or whatever the case may be, we are going to talk about it a little bit. But we're not going to go in and say, hey, in the second scene of today's episode, this is what happens. Not in this episode. So, nice crowd. I know you guys are super, super hyped to get this thing on the road. So let's just jump right into it, because this is there are little tidbits of information that's out there. Nothing confirmed, so I'm just going to throw it out there. And I've heard 3 or 4 scenarios, whether Henry gets captured, whether Daryl gets captured. It could be there's going to be some snow at the end of the season. So those are all just things, right? They're things that are not confirmed as of yet. They're ideas, and actually some of those things people are backtracking from some of them. But we do know one thing, that the whispers are legit. There's going to be some death. There's going to be some cruel and brutal death. And this is why I want to throw this theory out there. We've touched on it a little bit, but I want there to be a stream that actually encompasses it and says, hey, on February 10th, the 999 Army got together, and they did say that it was going to be Negan and Daryl saving the day at some point, and especially with Michonne leaving the show. And we can talk about whether she might take Judith, she might not take Judith, she may take RJ. Could we lose one of them? Hopefully not. Will Michonne end up dying in some capacity, or will she leave and be in the Walking Dead movie? So there's a lot of things that we could kind of throw out there. We got William Finney says, so excited for tonight. Thank you so much, William. Appreciate that super chat. And yes, we are so excited as well. You better believe it, my man. It is going to be, not just it's going to be good. I have watched it, and it is very, very good, in my opinion. Now, a couple people did message me that saw it and said they gave their thoughts, and maybe it wasn't super. I gave it like an 11. I'm just really, really excited. There are a couple people that had 1 or 2 small issues with it, but they were very small issues. And I think once you see it, I got a feeling that tonight's reaction video is going to be, it's going to be good. Do me a favor, everybody. Don't tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. Just as a show of hands, how many people, give me a quick 999 if you have watched the episode already. Really quickly. Because I just want the people that haven't watched it, just to see how many people, we're kind of going in talking about it. So if you've already seen it, just a quick 999. Yeah, it's a lot, right? Good. And I can trust all of you to kind of keep the spoilers under wraps, at least in this stream. Now, all of you that have watched it, I want you guys to be on the 999 Army channel at 4 o'clock, because we're going to do some extended breakdown. Now, to everyone that's watched it, I just kind of gave you my rating. I gave it an 11. This is for you guys to kind of represent and show the people who haven't watched it. Give me a rating right now from a 1 to a 10. What did you think about tonight's mid-season premiere? Let's see if the hype is still there. Let's see if all the people who watched it absolutely loved it. Because I thought it told a good story. Yeah, the hype train is there. You guys can see. Look, there's a lot of 10s out there. And many of you are going to have a lot of fun with tonight because you've watched it. You're going to watch it again. And so, you're going to have, and some of you have seen it 3 or 4 times. So we're going to be able to break this thing down like we know how to break it down. Drama King, I do think those rumors are true. That there is a little bit of snow that has been filmed. Now, how it comes about and the time frame, but remember, just some of the way that they're dressed does look like it's probably fall. And I will tell you that you do occasionally get some snow in Virginia in the fall. Not huge amounts, and from what I've heard, the snow spoiler or snow information out there, there's snow information out there. Do think that it's just going to be a little bit light, not like a blizzard or anything. And I think Mel said a little bit ago, this is like a reunion. So early on a Sunday, we've got the whole group here. Are you guys okay if I just do like just a quick commercial break before we get into the Negan theory? I know we just started this video, but I do have a couple announcements. I want to announce all of today's streams because I don't want anybody to be confused. So obviously we're right here. At 1 o'clock on the 999 Gaming channel, we will be doing a premiere, that's the way we're doing our comic book reads now. It is pre-recorded. So that means I've already done everything, and I'm going to be there live hanging out with you, so I'll get to interact, type, eat lunch, just all of those things. So it is issue number 113. It is a very, very action-packed issue. It's a lot of fun. Even if you guys have read the comics, hang out with me, hang out with some of the new people. But on 999 Gaming, we will be doing a comic premiere. We've done several of those. There's a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys, it's only about 14, 15 minutes, so it's not a super long stream, and you can kind of chime in and let me know as we sort of go through it. Also, at 4 o'clock today. Yep, 1 o'clock, Julia. So after this stream on 999 Gaming, you'll see the premiere. At 4 o'clock today, we will be doing a spoiler special, and that is on the 999 Army channel. So we're just going to talk about tonight's episode spoilers. Then we're going to be back here at 8 o'clock for the countdown. We're going to, people are going to have their snacks, their dinner ready to go. The hype train will be in full effect. And then we will be back here as well at 10:10 after the episode to do live reactions. And if you guys want to kind of sort out the confusion, check us out at the Walking Dead 999 Army Facebook fan page. Kel set up a complete calendar there. And occasionally we will add an additional stream like the 4 o'clock stream that we're doing today. It's not on the calendar, but pretty much we're going to stick to that calendar. That's going to give us at least 10 streams a week. So hopefully you guys are down for that. All right. The Negan Daryl theory. And, Drama, I'm glad you brought up the snow because I do think that that's probably about the time that this Negan and Daryl partnership is going to form. So, speculation that's out there. These are not spoilers. But there is a fair. So everybody knows about the fair. No big deal with that. We have been really, really beating the drum that the fair is going to be an extreme big deal. And now this is a comic spoiler. In the comics, Alpha does start to lure people away, and those people are going to be piked. So we feel like that's going to happen, a similar type of thing where this fair is going to be set up, and that could be where Daryl and Beta that we saw in the teaser. We know that Daryl and Beta are going to fight from the trailer and the teaser and a couple other things, so I think that could go down at the fair. And I just made a super bold prediction that I think Ezekiel will die at the fair. I really think it's just going to be this public display of Alpha's power. And all these predictions that I'm doing is leading up toward breaking the group back down. One thing The Walking Dead is notorious for It's for building up a community, and then the baddies come in and they kind of destroy it and break it down. And it's like never ending. You know, they build up the prison, it's broken down. They build up Alexandria, it's broken down. So here we are again. We went through 7 years of building it up again, and now we got somebody that's going to break it down again. But every time, the groups get stronger and the bad people get worse. And this is going to be the baddest of the bad. There's already some animosity between the groups, which is why I feel like this Negan and Daryl situation is unavoidable. If you've got potentially Ezekiel being gone, you've got several people that have been piked, you've got people that have been kidnapped, you've got people that have been probably skinned alive. I mean, we don't know what Alpha is capable of. And all the news articles out there, I mean, they're saying that Alpha is bringing the scary back to The Walking Dead. And when you're talking about people like Greg Nicotero, who is known for horror and is known for scary, for them to use that sounds like it might be true, that we might have something to fear. So if we can get that creepy vibe back in, and we start to see the not just the characters, but the communities get broken down and weakened, where's the revolt? Where's the rise of power going to come from? Negan out on his western journey. Not a spoiler. That's Angela Kang's information. Negan out trying to find himself. Away from everything. Daryl doing a little bit of tracking. We've seen that as well. So I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to say I want a group of 4 that you potentially think could partner together. And I'm going to see if I can either sort of call on a few people, think that through, or if we're going to say, nope, it's impossible. So give me 4 people you think could start to form the militia, the group that's going to fight back. Give me the first 4 of the militia. We know it's not Dwight. Dwight is gone. Dwight's on fear. Negan, Judith, Daryl, and Carol, says William. Negan, Daryl, Aaron, and Carol. Fair enough. Negan, Daryl, Judith, and Carol. Maggie, Negan, Daryl, and Carol. A lot of people have Carol in there. Najee, I like the direction Najee's going here. Najee says Negan, Judith, Daryl, and Aaron. We could probably add Magna to that. So let's say we went to 5. I know a lot of people want it to be Carol. I really think Carol's in a bad situation. I think the whole Henry rumor, whether Henry does follow them back, Henry gets himself in trouble, I think that might take Carol out of play. I could be wrong. But there's just something about, and let's add Magna to it. So if we got Magna, Negan, Daryl, Judith, and Aaron, what do you guys think about that? Because I think that if Carol's in a bad situation, that motivates Daryl a little bit more. Negan, because I feel like Negan and Daryl, it's got to happen that way. Judith, I feel like Michonne could be in a bad situation. I got a feeling Carol, Michonne are really going to be 2 of the ones that's going to kind of spark the group. Maybe Yumiko. I mean, what if we've got Yumiko, Carol, and Michonne all taken prisoner? Then I feel like our little mini militia might have some teeth. Plus, if you've got Daryl and Aaron, do you guys think that Daryl and Aaron might just be enough to keep an eye on Negan to make sure he doesn't step out of line? Or Aaron, Daryl, and Magna might be enough to keep Negan in line? with the motivation of Judith? Judith sort of convincing Negan to help with Michonne. You know, hey, that's my mom. And Negan feeling like he's got to do this to make her happy. Not Michonne happy, but make Judith happy. Daryl, especially what would be motivating to Daryl, is if Ezekiel does in fact die at the Red Fair. Oh, I like that, Omicron. The gruesome twosome. Plus, I don't know about Daryl, Dwight, and Yumi. That's a lot of arrows flying around. So if Yumi's prisoner and Dwight is gone, let's just have one person shooting arrows. We don't want to get caught in the crossfire here. Who shot that? Was that you? Nope, that was me. No, too many crossbow wielding people. No good. We could have... Think about how this could play out. This could almost be like, we mentioned this on the passage. When the passage is going to get really cool is when people have their own weapons. So let's break this down of why this theory works so well. All right, you got Daryl with a crossbow. You got Judith with a pistol. You got Negan with a bat, if he does have the bat. You've got Aaron with a robotic arm. And then you got Magna. What's Magna's weapon of choice? Knives? Whoa. You know what? I think we just nailed this. We've got... I think why this militia works so well is we just created a militia with 5 distinct types of weapons. You can't be any more on point than that. Daryl with a bow, Judith with a pistol, Negan with a bat, Aaron with the arm, and Magna with the knives. Done. That's a revolt right there. So let's transition to theory and figure out, all right, why do we need Negan? I'm going to throw this out to the group. If you've got Daryl and Aaron and Judith and Magna, why do you even need Negan in that group? I'm going to call on a few people here. Get your thoughts and comments included in this video. Let me know what he adds to the newfound militia. A couple people think Negan deserves a new weapon. Could be a shovel, right? Sherry says we don't need Negan. Leadership, strength, ruthlessness, says Stimpy. Leadership that Daryl doesn't have. Kel says for the one-liners. I guess from that perspective, sure. Tactics. It was kind of a loaded question, right? I made the assumption that Negan is needed. A couple people called on to that, but most do. Leanne says knows how to work with people. Steph says he brings the arrogance. But I do think, in a weird sort of way, there's 2 ways to look at this. We can look at it from the Negan character dynamic of what his skill is. But even what Kel just said, I think from an audience perspective, having Negan to add a little bit of comic relief to a very dark and dire situation with the Whispers might be writing genius. I also think Negan is a necessary catalyst for Daryl's development. Let me explain that. How many people love Daryl's dialogue? How many people? I'm not asking if you love the character of Daryl. I'm asking you if you would like to see Daryl more involved, Daryl interacting a little bit more, Daryl communicating. How many people would like to see that level of Daryl Dixon? Not the dirty, grunting, there for Carol, will help people. How many people would like to see Daryl's character take a step and evolve? Most, right? I mean, most people aren't just going to say, yeah, I like Daryl the way he is. They're going to say, I love, his the way he cares about people, the way he stands up for people. Right, Steph, I agree. He says what he means. But I think there's a lot bottled up. And I do think the dynamic between, and this is where I think my theory will go full circle. I think Negan will be able to draw a little bit more out of Daryl. Not always good dialogue, direct dialogue. We started to see a little bit of it with Daryl and Tara. In fact, last season, was there anybody that Daryl talked to more than Tara? And this sounds weird because I need you to go back through your memory banks really quickly. Right, the whole season, he said a few words to Maggie, but it seemed like Daryl and Tara, just in a couple episodes, talked more than anything. Then it was just kind of plotting and revenge and what we're going to do. So that shows you the amount of limited dialogue. Whereas Negan talks about everything. Maybe we need less of Negan talking and more of Daryl, and the two of them together will give us kind of that comfortable medium that we're looking for. And I agree with that. Angie Homan says Daryl's carried a lot of guilt. Maybe moving on from the guilt. His father, his brother, now Rick. So, I'm going to give you my comparison. How many people loved the Eugene and Abraham dynamic? And how many people miss the Eugene and Abraham dynamic? All right, we lost that, right? And that was tough. So then what did they give us after that? They gave us Ezekiel and Jerry. Now, how many people like the Ezekiel and Jerry dynamic? But I will say, if Eugene and Abraham were a 10, Ezekiel and Jerry are probably about a 7. It's just not there. It was a more trying time, more intense because they're going to war. But you're right, Tracy Bledsoe. It's not the same. It's a little bit of something, but it's not quite the same. And now we're starting to see a little bit of the Judith and Negan dynamic, which is cool, and that'll grow. But I think at some point, a Daryl, Judith, Negan, I think those friendships, and they're not going to be based on love. They're going to be based on, and maybe limited trust, but they're going to be based on necessity. And I see Daryl and Negan as coworkers that are going to respect each other's craft. And we can stream all day long, and I know some of you are going to say, Kills, it's not the same. The way Negan did those people, it's not the same. Daryl has done some things. And would you guys agree that some of the things that Daryl has done from a philosophy standpoint are just as bad as some of the things that Negan has done? Maybe not in the same enjoyment, maybe not the same pomp and circumstance, but I do think that even Rick, I think Rick did some things, I think Daryl did some things, and I think Negan did some things. And Daryl's probably killed more people than Negan. Because someone brought this up a little bit earlier. So I'm not just talking about, look, I said that Daryl's character might need Negan. If there was one character through the history of Walking Dead that seems to be burdened and riddled in guilt and not fully able to articulate and blend with people, which character would you say it would be? Would you guys agree that it's probably Daryl? Would you say that Daryl is probably the person that seems to have the most inner demons and the most regret? All right. So, Season 9, which character do you think is currently displaying the most inner demons, the most guilt, and the most regret? It's not Daryl anymore. I would say it's Negan. So if we really want to get Daryl to the point where we need him, and we want to get Negan back to a point where he adds value, which character would be best suited to get Negan back in fighting shape, to get Negan back to a point where he could help? Judith definitely could draw some of that, but I would argue that Daryl could do the same thing. Daryl's went through it. Daryl has been down. Daryl has been abused. Daryl has been abused by Negan. What better way to get Negan up to a level? And I do agree. I think Judith will play a role in that. But Judith and Daryl, I think, will really be the spark. One, I think Negan's going to need something to fight for, which is Judith. And then I think he's going to need the most important thing, and that is permission to fight. And he will only get that permission and that nod of approval from Daryl. That is my Negan and Daryl theory. And I'm really anxious to see how the writers sort of massage this, manipulate it, turn it into that beautiful vase that we talk about from a big, ugly lump of clay. I do think that Daryl's forgiveness is what will change Negan ultimately, because it's not easy to get acceptance from Daryl. I mean, Daryl told Dwight if he ever saw him again, he was going to kill him, and that made Dwight go all the way to Texas and join Fear the Walking Dead. So we know that's not coming back. Daryl has not killed him, but here's one of the common bonds. Daryl can't kill Negan because of why. And we're going to wind it down once everybody gets the answer to that question 100% correct. Negan has immunity. One reason and one reason only. And you nailed it on the head. That's if Rick forgave Negan, Daryl will use Negan as a resource. So there's no way. It's his promise to Rick. All right, everybody, we're at 29 minutes. This is The Walking Dead Day. I want to thank you guys for no spoilers, first of all. Very interesting topic. This is firmly implanted in the archives of YouTube. So people will see The Walking Dead Season 9, Negan and Daryl. So when it happens, you know that we talked about it right here first. Thanks, everybody. I will see everybody at 1 o'clock. Switch on over to the 999 Gaming channel. Hang out with me. It is an action-packed comic. Probably more action in this comic than any of the ones that I've read before. So it is intense. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys over there. And then we'll talk about some of the streams the rest of the day. And then don't forget, 4 o'clock, if you guys want to talk spoilers, we will be on the third channel. And that'll be 999 Army. So I will see everybody for a nice little comic book read at 1 o'clock. You guys have a great afternoon. Peace.